Hello, I'm Dr. Freeman, and welcome to the Power of Your Health. There's nothing more important and powerful than your health. This show will help encourage you from a nutritional standpoint on how to eat, what foods to avoid, and what foods to eat in a very simple way. I follow an alkaline diet about 80% of the time for over 20 years. I was born in Germany and raised in Tennessee, and where I'm from, there weren't a lot of vegetarians, and for the most part, I never heard the word vegan or living foods until I was a grown woman living in Boston, Massachusetts. I grew up in a family that loved to eat. We ate everything from fried chicken and ribs for dinner to cake, ice cream for dessert. And on holidays, we had ham and turkey and all the sweets you can imagine. So as a kid, I would eat Twinkies, Little Debbie cakes, all of those foods, and school lunch consisted of burgers, fries, or pizza that I routinely washed down with chocolate milk. So I was lucky. I ate the same things my friends ate, but I didn't get sick until later in life. My family and friends were not as lucky. My grandmother got sick first. The doctors told her she had high blood pressure, and when my mother hit her 40s, she started having problems as well with high blood pressure that led to major aneurysms that she suffered until her death. You know, I didn't know it until much later, but my grandfather was dealing with diabetes and high blood pressure as well. And not only that, my sister for many years was diagnosed with diabetes. And all of my loved ones had many symptoms. You know, they didn't know it, but I was deeply affected by what they went through. I didn't like the idea of me or my family suffering or being sick. They were such brilliant people and vibrant, but illness seemed unnecessary. So by me witnessing my family, my friends, my community, I saw them endure all of these severe health challenges that had a profound impact on how I saw the world and who I would later become as a woman. I remembered my grandmother would tell me stories about my great-grandmother Ada. They were raised in the farm, and they nurtured and had so many foods that provided them natural health. For example, in the 70s, my parents moved into the city of Humboldt. They worked full-time, and though we ate a lot of fast food, a lot of high-sugar foods, you know it, the Kool-Aids, the sodas, the candies, and my mother typically, cooked when she could. And then at that time, food was changing in the country. Vegetables and all of the processed foods was becoming more prevalent. And to be honest, it was pretty hard to resist. I'm still thanking God for my grandparents, though, because they inspired my love for true vegetables. And later on, I know now that it was so important. When I was 17, I began experiencing abdominal pains. I didn't understand why this was happening. I was in a lot of pain. And today, I found out that a lack of proper hydration and nutrition were the culprit. When I was 22, I went and met a classmate from Boston. We were studying world religion in the library, and she was a vegetarian. So together, we decided to eliminate the pork, the meat, and the beef from our diets, and we kept each other motivated on our journey towards a plant-based lifestyle. 2 years later, I moved to Chicago, and when I arrived to Chicago, I met several natural health pioneers who helped me stay strong in the game of the plant-based lifestyle. We researched the standard American diet, and I was convinced that there was a vicious cycle of disease surrounding all of these food choices. So I wanted to take control of my health. I began studying and reading not just about food health, but I studied the works of everyone from Dr. Sebi to Gabrielle Cousins. I studied systems and researched the diets and natural remedies that helped our people across the planet. I was fascinated by so many non-invasive techniques of healing. You know what? I went on to receive my doctorate of podiatric medicine in 2001. And as I was a student working on myself, I began working on myself. I opened my eyes to a new way of seeing my health. And how could I manifest change? Over and over, the same thing kept coming over in my mind. Health and wellness. Good health is maintaining a healthy gut. You know, I believe since all illnesses seem to lead back to digestive problems, I was intrigued with ways of improving the gut health of people, my family and friends and clients. I was intrigued of learning the importance of digestive health and how it impacted the blood. One terrible day, I hit rock bottom in my own personal life. My 10-year marriage to my college sweetheart ended in an ugly divorce. I began to binge on the Little Debbie cakes again and even eating meat for over a year until one day I got sick. My abdominal pain returned and I had multiple surgeries. Not only that, but it was worse to the point where I was bleeding for weeks. After many specialists' recommendations after recommendations, I had multiple surgeries, one after another for a span of 2 years. And one day, my coworker in Wisconsin was a raw foodist. She stopped me and says, "You need to change your food. Go back to the benefits." It was that very moment that my own eyes and ears and heart found its way back home. I ran with this knowledge. I studied again. I began researching again. I found vegan restaurants. I made my own food. I began living whole and healthy again. I felt alive again. And you know what I'm saying is that my follow-up appointments with my doctors were uneventful. As I left my final discharge appointment, I walked down the hospital halls thinking that this day, I have to take back my own health. I found my joy back. And I even married again. I was happy and healthy. Practicing raw foodism was, I must admit, very hard and challenging when you're married to a meat eater. It was challenging, but I made it work. I had my own refrigerator and he had his own refrigerator. After 7 years, I received more devastating news. I was diagnosed as infertile, secondary to fibroids, which was a result of multiple scar tissues from surgeries again. My doctors recommended adoption or IVF. Well, the miracle is that I conceived naturally. My pregnancy was very healthy, and I began the journey again. So what I'm saying is that I am not perfect. We all are struggling. We're all in this together. And so now, yes, do I eat meats? Sometimes. But I don't eat certain meats. There are certain things I do eat. But what I am saying is this, is that I'm on this journey. I am focusing primarily on plant-based eating habits. So come on, follow me, come along this natural wellness journey with me.